Hi, my name is Sadie Sawyer, and I'm here to introduce the next candidate for our red and white Speaker of the House, Nima Badam. I've known Nima for 5 years, since sixth grade and our first year doing youth in government. I can say with confidence that she's more than capable of a leadership role, especially one like the Speaker of the House. Nima's honest, kind, intelligent, and insanely hard worker, and so much more. She's not only an amazing person and friend, but a sharp leader with a knack for getting things done and getting along with everyone she meets, and I look up to her and her maturity so much. In addition to her character, Nima is also qualified from an experience standpoint. She's the vice president of our class, an officer on the school's debate team, and was lieutenant governor of the Blue Legislature last year. She's the perfect choice for Speaker of the House this year. Needless to say, it's my pleasure to introduce our school's candidate for Speaker of the House, Nima Badam. So,
Well done.
Thanks, Sadie.
yep, of course. So, can I?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Sadie, for that amazing intro. In November of sixth grade, I attended my first Michigan Youth in Government Conference. I was astonished by all the young students willing and eager to voice their opinions and fight for their beliefs. And before I knew it, I was one of them. 5 years later, I'm here before you, and my passion for this unique program has only grown. Hi, my name is Nima Badam. I'm a sophomore from Cranbrook Kingswood delegation, and I'm running for Red-White Speaker of the House this year at Michigan Youth in Government. This year, we are faced by a few challenges at YIG. The first is obvious: the conference will be virtual. Another difference is the unusually tumultuous, potentially polarizing political events going on in the world around us. Some might view these differences as setbacks to this year's conference, but I see them as unique opportunities. I know that with me as Speaker of the House, we can work together to make this year at YIG the best yet. The first opportunity of this conference is its virtual format. Now, not only will there be more people from different places able to attend the conference will also run more efficiently since there's no need to cram into buses to and from the Capitol building at Lansing. If Zoom ever presents communication issues, because we've all been on those calls where nobody talks, I pledge to prompt discussion and think of innovative solutions, like using breakout rooms to meet in caucuses to solve any issues that arise. I can stay after meetings as well to converse with you about any concerns, comments, or questions that you have. The second opportunity for this year is the unique circumstances that we find ourselves in, from the pandemic to the BLM movement to the upcoming election. As I mentioned, some might find these events polarizing. But one of my core beliefs is that differences should bring us together rather than drive us apart. As such, if I'm elected Speaker of the House, I will make sure that everyone's viewpoint is heard and respected. Not only that, I will foster debate and conversation so that our differing opinions regarding national politics will drive this year's conference. I have experience being a leader and helping people connect despite their differences. I'm the vice president of my class, a position that requires me to be impartial and open-minded to ideas from my peers. I'm also a varsity debater, which requires good public speaking and critical thinking skills. Lastly, I'm an MYIG veteran. I've done YIG for 5 years, meaning I'm fluent in parliamentary procedure and know this program like the back of my hand. In addition, last year, I was the lieutenant governor of the Blue Legislature, so I have experience being a presiding officer. This year, if I'm elected Speaker of the House, I will once again lead effectively and fairly. I will use the same skills, communication, optimism, and teamwork to make sure that we get through the bills on the docket and that everyone has the opportunity to share their opinion. I will communicate with all of you and make sure that everyone has a productive, fun, and educational experience. Always feel free to come up to me with suggestions, questions, and more, even if I'm not elected Speaker of the House, because YIG can be intimidating, especially this year when everything is so different. But we're all in this together. Vote for me, Nima Badam, for Red-White Speaker of the House. Together, we'll turn setbacks into opportunities and make this year's conference one of the best yet.
Fall of 2018, I came forward to deliver a set of promises as Lieutenant Governor, and in spring of 2019, I delivered the latter. My knowledge of parliamentary procedure helped me run our session smoothly, and my assertive yet understanding demeanor allowed delegates to have a fair and enjoyable MEA experience. Now, in fall of 2020, I am here again to revamp and deliver a set of promises. As Speaker of the House, I will make sure that we get through an adequate amount of bills on the docket and that every delegate is in the correct parliamentary procedure. Although I will have a firm demeanor, my work as Vice President of the Great Student Council of the Renaissance High School delegation has taught me patience and has taught me how to be understanding. If we are doing virtual this spring conference, then I will stay behind on the call to talk to delegates and get their thoughts on how the meeting went. If we are doing the traditional in-person at our great state capital of Lansing, then I will have as many one-on-one conversations with delegates as I can. I'm aware that I cannot have a conversation with every single delegate. Therefore, I'm not going to make that false promise. But what I can promise is communication between delegates and delegations. The previous time that I served as lieutenant governor, I will have lunch with other delegates and discuss bills, and my wonderful time at the Travis Scott concert, which I almost passed out due to hydration. But as the late great Juice WRLD once stated, the party never ends. As stated before, communication is crucial in this position, and this position requires communication between the governor. I have a great relationship with the governor of my conference, Jonathan Lowry, and I do not see this as being an issue whatsoever. In these partisan times, it is nearly impossible to go online without hearing the views of two sides of the same poll. But I will not give my political views unless I hear a statement that I know 100% beyond a reasonable doubt is false. I will suspend the rules and give correct information. Or if we are discussing my bill, I will have to give my opinion. I will also suspend the rules if we are on a time crunch. This does not mean I will allow it to be a free-for-all. Delegates will still have to wait to be called on. But I want to do more than that. Therefore, I am always open to suggestions and will take them into high consideration. If you have suggestions, my email is doranlofton18@gmail.com. If you don't have suggestions or just need to phone a friend, I am here for that too. The success of legislation is greatly determined by effective and competent Speaker of the House. This position is a challenge, and I, Doran Lofton, is up for that challenge. Thank you.
Hello, delegates of the Southeast Michigan Youth and Government Conference. My name is Jimmy Moffitt, and I am running for the position of Speaker of the House for the Red Legislature. I am running for this position because I believe in some values that should be core American values, like compromise, consensus, and cooperation. I've seen the deadlock that occurs within Washington and Lansing through the news and wish to be part of a new generation of leaders that stands against the extremely combative nature of the current political environment. Michigan is one of the most polarized states in the country. This has led to many important issues being neglected due to a lack of effort from both parties to cooperate on essential legislation, such as fixing our state's roads and our broken education system. I will begin my drive towards becoming a unifying leader for our state here in youth and government. I may be relatively new to the program, but I'm very passionate about politics, and really felt like I had found something very special in the conference I attended early in 2020. I developed an acute interest in arguing, which evolved into actual debate over the past couple of years of my life. And I was able to show these abilities to my fullest at that conference. I want the delegates coming into this year's conference to be able to have a similarly amazing time. I believe that using my leadership ambitions and tactics I have learned in all my political experiences so far, I'll be able to run a legislature that is efficient, civil, and passes as many good bills as possible. I have a decent amount of experience with the lawmaking and voting system from online political simulations that has helped me a lot with this. I dealt with people across the world, across all 6 continents, from moderate to extreme ideologies in multiple of these political sims, which helped me to understand how to perform in a difficult and polarizing environment. I think one of the best skills I learned was being able to get people from different sides of the political spectrum to work together on very important legislation. I will make sure that my chamber does not get stuck in meaningless deadlock over trivial issues, and will always keep my core priority of bringing up a new generation of respectful leaders at the forefront. I'm going to spend a large amount of time before the conference preparing everything possible to be as effective of a speaker as possible. I'm going to make myself an expert in all the aspects of Parley Pro, and I'm already ready to be a role model for the chamber I represent. I have dealt with some really difficult people in online politics, so I know I will have the patience to face any minor difficulties that come up during my tenure as speaker. I want to learn and improve through hearing the opinions of others, so I will always be open to questions and suggestions relating to how I can improve in a leadership position. I am so excited for this year's Michigan Youth and Government Conference and all the new experiences I'll be able to gain now that I have a more in-depth knowledge of the program and politics in general. I will do everything in my power to be one of the best speakers this conference has ever seen. Delegates, if you stand for progress, stability, and respectful disagreement, and support Jimmy Moffitt for Speaker of the House for a Red Legislature.
Good morning. My name is Dominic Woods, and I am running to be your 2021 Red Speaker of the House. Before I tell you why I am running, I need to tell you who I am. I am 16 years old. I am a senior. No, not a senior citizen. I am the president of the class of 2021 and the student council at my school. I have a dog named Bella. I like chicken, fried, of course. And I am a Polish, Russian, Irish, African American. Now that you know a little bit more about me, we can get into the important stuff, why I am running for this position. To many people, being Speaker of the House is just being in charge of a large meeting. To me, however, being Speaker is a lot more than that. It's about bringing people together. In our modern world, we are very divided politically. Republicans and Democrats throughout all levels of government cannot ever seem to get along, leaving independence in our country in peril. Of course, this is taking place among mainly the adults in politics today. We have a chance to be better. I'm a firm believer of letting everyone's voice be heard. This means choosing different people to speak as much as I can, calling people out when they laugh or make fun of another delegate for their beliefs or arguments, and talking to as many delegates as I can before and after the session. I'm confident in what I am saying because I have experience as Speaker of the House. I was Speaker of the House last year and I was a little shaky here and there. Now that I know the procedures, however, I can truly work to implement everything I said because I do not have to worry or be concerned about forgetting what to do anymore. Instead, I can work with everyone and we can work together. Sometimes debate can get chaotic, it can get heated. Some people cannot handle the pressure. However, after seeing firsthand how wild these meetings can get, I have learned how to stay afloat in the midst of all the chaos. Though I love when things stay in line, that is just not realistic. Things happen every day that can throw you off track. What matters most is how you handle them. As Speaker of the House, I will always stay calm in the face of conflict because no problems can be solved if you are stressing over them. In fact, this is how I have been handling my life for the past few years. See, I attend an underprivileged school, but I am motivated to excel in everything I do. My late advisor and mentor, Mr. Johnson, was one of the people that always pushed me to be the best person that I can be, despite the disadvantages I have faced and will face in the future due to a variety of different factors. Though he passed away recently, I am not discouraged. This is because I know life does not always go as planned. Sure, there will be upsets and problems in life. Yeah, things will not always go your way, but if you keep fighting, anything is possible. This is what I can bring to the table as Speaker of the House, and this is something that we can do together. We can fight for our beliefs and work together to reach a common goal. Why fight against each other when we can fight for each other? Thank you, and please be sure to vote Dominic Woods for Red Speaker of the House.
Hi, my introductory speaker is having a rough week, but I hope you can understand. My name is Reet Singh, and I'm a senior from the Cranbrook-Kingswood delegation, and I'm running to be your lieutenant governor. Some of you might know me probably because I've been your committee chair or just in general since I've been participating in YIG for a very long time. This is my 7th year at YIG, so I'm pretty comfortable with most of you. So the reason why I'm running is not because I know Parley Pro and not because I have years of experience, even though these are good attributes. I wouldn't say that these are reasons as to why I'm running. So here's my story. Last year, the day before the fall conference, I wasn't running, I was just voting. But the day before the fall conference, my dad and I got into a small argument, and he told me that he wished I ran for lieutenant governor or even youth governor. I've always been a shy and an introverted person, and I never really ran because I thought I'd always lose. The day after the fall conference, I got into a really bad car accident that literally traumatized me. A drunk man hit me, and this accident influenced me mentally. As I was honking and braking super hard, I shouted in my car with Drake blasting, "I haven't lived yet. No, I need to live." In those few seconds before crashing, I was thinking, I haven't traveled to certain places. I haven't run to become lieutenant governor. I haven't finished high school, and how I didn't say I love you to my family that day. This raises that one thing that you shouldn't take life for granted. So today, I'm running because I'm finally breaking out of my shell and I'm doing what I truly wanted, even if it means that I don't win. Honestly, I'm glad I started out as a committee chair. I got to know a lot of you over the years, personally, and I made so many new friends. Whether YIG is remote or not this year, I want to ensure that it will still be a wonderful time to get to know each other. Thank you.
Good morning, delegates. My name is Alex Wong, and I'm from the Rochester Adams delegation, and I'm running for Lieutenant Governor for the White Senate. So let me tell you guys about how I got started in youth and government. I first learned about YIG in the middle of November last year. At first, I thought it was bland or even boring. How could a simulation of government possibly be interesting? But I figured maybe it'll at least be somewhat fun, like many of the Model UN conferences I had attended prior. So I signed up for the club of my school, attended meetings every few weeks, and registered for the conference in Lansing. At that time, YIG was too far away to even think about, but little did I know how awesome it would be. Fast forward to February 2020 to the day we were supposed to leave for Lansing. By then, I was looking forward to YIG, but more for the traveling without parents part than the learning about government part. As I walked into the icebreaker games in my first committee meeting, I was very apprehensive. I didn't know anyone in the committee or in the blue legislature, but I had a small stroke of luck in that both of my bills were first on the docket in my committee. That really forced me to get out of my shell, start talking, and getting comfortable with YIG. The next few days turned out to be a fantastic blur, filled with anticipation, late night runs to Dunkin' Donuts, debate, and mandating Saturdays with the boys. By the last day of the conference, I knew I wanted to attend YIG again this year. And to top it all off, I even won the Blue Outstanding Senator Award. Without a question, that YIG conference last year is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. I'm sure many of you guys here have had experiences just like mine at YIG, and many more of you guys are looking forward to such an experience this year. That's why I'm running for Lieutenant Governor, because I want to bring that same productive yet fun educational experience that I had to other YIG students, which I believe is especially important with the current political climate and the worldly situation. And all of my previous experience outside of YIG, such as 2 years of cross country, 3 years of Model United Nations, 7 years of robotics, and 10 years as a pianist, offer me unique skills, insights, and opinions that can help me achieve this goal. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Sherry Yang. I'm running for the position of the 2020 White Lieutenant Governor. This is currently my 4th year in youth in government, and it's by far the strangest one. One of the major aspects of youth in government is the social connection and in-person contact. And with everything done virtually, it's tough. But in spite of recent events, let's all try our best to make light of the situation and carry on. Now, remember my first year of YIG in 2017. I knew all the parliamentary procedures, but I was just simply too afraid to speak out, both in committee meetings and the chamber meetings. Suffice to say, this is the major problem of youth in government. New delegates are just simply too afraid to voice their opinions. Now, 4 years later, I'm running for a prestigious position in YIG, hoping to give some relief to this problem. Now, I've taken on similar leadership roles in the past before, both at the middle school and high school level, so I have an understanding of what this position entails. 2 years ago, I was Speaker of the House. Last year, I was a committee chair. And this year, I'm hoping to be the next Lieutenant Governor. In school, I'm part of 5 extracurricular programs and organizations: Mock Trial, Model UN, Done Waiting, Progressive Youth Coalition, and of course, Youth in Government. All of these involve government and politics in some way, and I have leadership experience in most of them. Now, the responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor are very challenging and demanding. For one, the chair needs to be able to find the delicate balance between fairness and efficiency. The chair needs to be able to read the room and provide adequate responses to unexpected questions and statements. The chair needs to be able to foster a caring environment and to allocate ample time for all delegates to speak. I will make a point of ensuring all of those. Now, as our White Senate is composed primarily of second, third, and fourth year delegates, it is crucial for us all to step up and help out, no matter if you're in a leadership position or not. And to the first year delegates, I welcome you to Youth in Government. I know this is a very strange introduction to YIG when everything's done virtually, but I hope that you'll stick around for future years. I encourage you to not be me when I first joined Youth in Government. Speak out, have fun, make friends. Youth in Government has been one of the most enjoyable activities I've ever done, and I hope it will be for you too. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nima Banan, and I'm from the Cranbrook-Kingswood delegation. I'm here to introduce Julia Wong as candidate for youth governor. I, along with the rest of the Cranbrook-Kingswood delegation, am deeply familiar with the type of person that Julia is. I personally know her to be responsible, helpful, confident, and an overall excellent person that embodies the Cranbrook values. She's always willing to offer help when she is asked, and she's not afraid to ask questions when it's needed. For example, when I asked her for help and advice on how to acquire an internship with a state representative, she jumped at the opportunity and did not hesitate to give me all the information she could. From our meetings, I know that she has no problem leading a discussion and often brings new ideas and fresh perspectives to the table. I have been in Michigan Youth in Government for 5 years now, and as a result, I'm really familiar with the program. Given my experience, I have no problem saying definitively that Julia is the best candidate for Southeast Michigan. She will thrive as governor and better the conference for all of you. Now, without further ado, introducing our candidate for youth governor, Julia Wong.
Thank you, Nima, for that amazing introduction. Democracy is one of the most important institutions in American society. What we know now and celebrate to be democracy, however, is something that had to go through waves of activism and legal change to achieve. Along with Cleisthenes, who was coined the father of democracy, and the founding fathers that laid the groundwork for our great nation, many of us can owe our thanks to the suffragettes, the civil rights leaders, and the activists of the 20th century that fought to give everyone a chance to participate. Democracy also requires its citizens, all of us that is, to be informed and educated to succeed. By many of us being here today in Michigan Youth in Government, we are fulfilling and upholding the legacy of all the great men and women that came before us that gave all of us a chance to have a say in our legal system. Today, I am claiming my right to participate in our beautiful democracy by running for Youth Governor of Michigan Youth in Government. Hi everyone, my name is Julia Wang of the Cranbrook-Kingswood delegation, and today I will be telling you why I should be elected to represent Southeast Michigan in Michigan Youth in Government Spring Conference. Perhaps you're expecting me to go into my years of experience within Michigan Youth in Government and my undying passion for MEIG, but I admit that I certainly am an outsider. But while many of you may not know who I am, that does not stop me from wanting to learn more about you and what you care about, because I want to make sure that you feel represented this year in Michigan Youth in Government. We are all here because we want to educate ourselves and understand more about the processes that play such an integral role in our daily lives. That is my reason for being here too, and I wish to simply add to my experience in politics, of which I already have in the real world. A few months ago, I acquired an internship with District State Representative Padma Kupa, representing House District 41 of Troy and Clawson. I have been working on her campaign team ever since, participating in multiple phone banks every single week, gathering research from clerks' offices for voters, and communicating with local groups that wish to connect with my candidate. Since I began my internship, I have made hundreds and hundreds of phone calls to constituents. I have talked with a 76-year-old woman who was scared for her daughter who was a school teacher as schools were beginning to open up during the pandemic. I've also talked to a 68-year-old man who kept me on the phone for 15 minutes talking to me about his frustrations with the current political climate. All these voters that I have talked to, from all different backgrounds and walks of life, have only strengthened my understanding that we are all diverse individuals with our own unique experiences that shape our understanding of the world. This is why I want to learn more about all of you. I want to know what you care about, what you believe in, and what I can personally do to help you feel represented this year in this unprecedented time. When it comes to me personally, I certainly feel strongly about many things. One of my core beliefs is the idea that women have a fundamental right to bodily autonomy and our reproductive health care. If you might disagree with me, I understand, and most importantly, I want to talk to you about why you care about the things you do. And perhaps we can even learn a bit more about each other in the process. I also care very strongly about education, and it is within my belief that public schools are underfunded and that teachers deserve greater respect, resources, and pay. Having only recently switched to Cranbrook, I have gone to public schools for the greater part of my education. It is this change in schooling environments that have reaffirmed my understanding of what our public schools need in order to cultivate the leaders of the future. And last, but certainly not least, I believe that our government officials should be held to greater standards of accountability and transparency. I want to know what influences their decisions to support what they do, and if they have a monetary obligation in doing so. For Michigan Youth in Government, I want to make politics more accessible and more transparent for the everyday individual. This is why, as governor, I promise that I will be completely forthcoming in the decisions that I make. No bill will get passed or denied without me explaining why I made the decision that motivates my actions. If you do not feel satisfied with my decision, I will personally extend an invitation to have a conversation with you or your committee so you understand that your voice indeed has an impact. We are certainly living in tumultuous times. With the protests that occurred over the summer, the quarantine, and the upcoming presidential elections, we have certainly gone through and will go through a lot this year together. This year, especially with us being over Zoom, I want to make sure that everyone in Michigan Youth in Government feels represented and as though they are within this community. I want to unify Michigan Youth in Government, and no matter our differences in beliefs, under the notion that we are all going through this with each other. With how polarized our political climate is, the testament of our strength lies in what we can achieve and accomplish together. I am certain that these are all things that we can agree on, and if you do indeed believe in this message of unity and strength, vote Julia Wang of the Cranbrook Kingswood delegation for youth governor. Thank you.